Alter your own clothes and save a bundle. Here's how.
Want to cuff a pair of pants instead of just the ordinary standard hem? I'll show you how. In order to successfully cuff this pair of pants, there needs to be at least 3.5 inches of extra fabric. As it turns out, this hem needs to go up 3 3/4 inches, so we have just enough to do it. Let's begin by marking our 3 3/4 inches. Depending on whether you want your cuff to be 1 1/4 inches wide or 1 1/2 inches wide, mark the next increment. I've chosen 1 1/4. Again, mark 1 1/4 inches. Notice how I'm using the ruler differently this time? Whatever works. Now mark 3/4 inch out. Had we chosen a 1 1/2 inch width cuff, we would probably measure 1 inch out. So see how close we came to the edge here. This is how much we need to make a really nice cuff. Do the same thing on the other side and on the other leg. Trim this excess. Press this first section under. All the way around. Now that the first section is pressed under, go to the next line, fold it under, and press it all the way around. Be a little careful with the pressing so that you don't erase the chalk line with the steam press. At this point, you've accomplished pressing under 2 folds, the first fold and the second fold. 1 chalk line remaining. Double check that that second fold line does indeed measure the 1 1/4 inches that we desire, because this is the fold that's going to show. Yep, you want to be accurate. For the last fold line, fold outward and press. How do you make sure that you become even when that last chalk line can't be seen from where you're working from? It's okay. Match up the edge of the fold under evenly with the pant leg fabric. This will be a little more obvious when you're doing this at home. And press in place. All the way around. See how I'm just, with my fingers, creasing it up to the edge of the cuff, pressing it down. Same at the side seams. Confidently pressing it down. We've got a cuff. Okay, I'm just flattening this out with my fingers now, what we've accomplished with the pressing, because it's time to figure out how we're going to finish this raw edge. We can leave it pinked the way I have done. We can serge it, or we can fold under an edge and press it flat just a narrow edge, and I'll show you what will be done with that next. I myself am going to choose to serge this raw edge, and then I'll have a choice again. Am I going to blind hem this hem on my blind hemmer machine? Am I going to sew it by hand? Or there's a way to sew this down with straight stitching on your home sewing machine. I have the pants all turned inside out and the edges serged. So again, I will fold back from the center fold line and pin. Starting at the side seams, matching up. Another couple of pins, center front, center back. And so I'll end up blind hemming along this edge or sewing by hand, or I'm now going to demonstrate to you how if we had turned under that little edge here, we can sew this in place and just how that looks as an end result. Using the free arm and the pants inside out, I'm stitching along the edge of the serging. All the way around. So this is how that will look when finished. There's now a stitch line right here underneath that last fold line, which won't be seen when the cuff is folded up and tacked into place at the side seams. So it's a little faster than hand sewing. If choosing to hand sew, naturally we'll just go along the edge here of the serging or the pinking or the fold under. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. This needle is not threaded. Just demonstrating. Last step then is to fold up at the side seams, and we're going to run a stitch in the ditch of the cuff to tack all this up on each side. I've pinned, making sure we're still honoring 1 1/4 inches width. And we'll stitch in the ditch. Other side. Stitch in the ditch. Stitched in the ditch. And there they are, a terrific pair of cuffed pants. Very handsome. Finished.